8:45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Soundhi Thavam. The government expects to spend 206 billion rupees annually on the Aswasama program. The need to develop the human resource of the country has been emphasized. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says that the country is now gradually coming back to normalcy after President Ranil Wickremesinghe took office. Import restrictions on 300 more items to be relaxed. In foreign news, China promises resolute response to any NATO expansion in Asia. And in sports, Sri Lanka Cricket names 15-member Sri Lanka A squad for the emerging Asia Cup. The government expects to spend 206 billion rupees annually on the Aswasama program. State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe said the government has spent 144 billion rupees on welfare benefits last year. In months with the IMF and the World Bank, Sri Lanka had agreed to spend a minimum of 187 billion rupees annually on welfare benefits. It has taken about 20 years to put in line a systematic and a transparent method to identify the underprivileged and those in need of welfare benefits, the State Minister added. Out of the 982,770 appeals has been received thus far, significantly 650,000 appeals have been received by the individuals whose names are already in the published list. Meanwhile, the first payment will be made within this month for all candidates elected and who have not received objections or appeals, State Minister Shehan Semasinghe said. Commencing from August 1st, those who could not apply for the Aswasama this year or failed to submit appeals will have another chance to do so, he added. He expressed these views today during a press conference themed Collective Path to a Stable Country held at the Presidential Media Centre. State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe further commented, the time period given to all applicants whose names are not included in the list of Aswasama beneficiaries to file appeals terminated in July 10th. Accordingly, 982,770 appeals and 62,368 objections have been received thus far. Arrangements have been made to commence investigations pertaining to these appeals and objections received by the divisional secretaries under the supervision of district secretaries. Minister Susil Premajanta says that professional skills will not be developed through old knowledge, but with modern knowledge equipped with the state-of-the-art technology. The minister emphasized the need to develop the human resource of the country. The minister said that through the development of the human resource, the country can reap the maximum benefits out of it. The minister made these comments while addressing a program to educate the principals of the Puttalam district. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says that the country is now gradually coming back to normalcy after President Ranil Wickremesinghe took office. The minister made these comments while attending the ceremony in Ratnapura today. The newly constructed Ratnapura coach complex was vested with the public today. The Ministry of Justice has published more than 30 books to control corruption in the country. The minister emphasized that he will work tirelessly to create a country with law-abiding citizens. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you.
The government will take measures to ease the import restrictions imposed on 300 more essential items, State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siyamalapitiya announced today. Taking to Twitter, State Minister Siyamalapitiya said that the import restrictions are expected to be relaxed by next week. The government last issued a Gazette notification lifting the import ban on over 240 items in June 2023. The government imposed a ban on several items as a part of its prolonged stringent import restrictions from March 2020 due to the coronavirus pandemic. The ban on imports continued due to the economic crisis until as recently as November last year, after which the government took measures to relax import restrictions on several goods in batches. Earlier in 2023, Sri Lanka has also expressed its intention to the European Union to present a plan by June to lift the import restrictions currently imposed in the country. The Department of Examinations has announced the practical tests of the 2022 GCE Ordinary Level Examination will be held for the 2nd of next month. The Commissioner General of Examinations, Amit Jayasundara, stated that practical tests for the subjects of music, dance, drama and theatre will be conducted until the 12th of next month. Jayasundara further stated that, however, the practical tests related to Western music will be held on Sunday, the 6th of August, stating that no changes have been made to the evaluation methods or changes to the evaluation methods utilized for practical tests in the previous years. Jayasundara said the same standards will be used this year as well. The Commissioner General of Examinations pointed out that the examination admission cards of school and private applicants will be dispatched by mail in the near future. That concludes local news.
Elevate your life with People's Bank Excelsior. A comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, MUM Ali Sabri, will travel to Jakarta, Indonesia, to take part in the forthcoming 30th ASEAN Regional Forum Ministerial Meeting on Friday. The ARF is an Asia-Pacific region-centric security dialogue mechanism inaugurated in 1994 in Thailand, which seeks to promote regional development and prosperity collectively through open and inclusive dialogue, benefiting all stakeholders while recognizing the challenges to regional peace, security and prosperity. The ASEAN Regional Forum has 27 member states, and Sri Lanka has been a member of the IRAF since 2007. This year's forum is hosted by Indonesia, the current chair of ASEAN, and under the theme ASEAN Matters, Epicentrum of Growth, to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the ASEAN Regional Forum and exchange views on confidence-building measures and cultivating preventive diplomacy in addressing the pressing regional issues and global challenges. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri is expected to meet several counterparts on the sidelines of the 30th ASEAN Regional Forum for bilateral discussions during his stay in Jakarta. That came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. The chair of the Sectoral Oversight Committee on National Economic and Physical Plans, MP Mahindananda Alutkamege, stated that only 31,000 pay tax from a total of 500,000 personal income tax files in Sri Lanka. According to a statement from Parliament of Sri Lanka, the MP pointed out that there are 105,000 registered limited companies in the country, but 82% of the tax revenue is received from only 382 companies. MP Alutkamage also emphasized that it is important to maintain the inflation, the reserves of the country and the government's income at an optimal level by December, by the time of the second review of the International Monetary Fund, given that the said factors must be taken into account when granting loans. That came to you in Watchlight and on to World News. In the headlines, China promises resolute response to any NATO expansion in Asia. Fighters kill 4 soldiers in southern Pakistani army base. Ex-Manson follower Leslie Van Houten released from prison after 53 years. Beijing has reacted angrily to a NATO communiqué portraying China as a major challenge to the military alliance's interests and security. In a strongly worded statement issued halfway through their 2-day summit in the Lithuanian capital of Vilnius, NATO leaders said the People's Republic of China challenged the alliance's interests, security and values with its shared ambitions and subversive policies. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky hails NATO and G7 defense packages for Kyiv but says an invitation to join the alliance would have been ideal. Australia, the UK and Germany are among nations at the NATO meeting to have promised further military aid to Ukraine. Suspected fighters attacked a military base armed with guns, hand grenades and rockets in southern Pakistan on Wednesday, killing at least 4 soldiers, army and security officials said. Another 5 soldiers are critically wounded, the army said in a statement. At least 3 armed fighters were killed in retaliatory fire, and an operation was underway to apprehend 2 other attackers, it said. Several fighters stormed the military base in northern Balochistan's Zob province. In the early hours, the army said. Security officials said the armed fighters fought a gun battle for several hours after hurling hand grenades inside a military mess. Leslie Van Houten, a former follower of notorious cult leader Charles Manson, has been released on parole after serving more than 5 decades of a life sentence for 2 brutal murders. Van Houten, 73, was a 19-year-old member of the Manson family when she took part in the murder of a Los Angeles grocer and his wife in 1969. 5 previous bids for her parole were blocked by California's governors. That decision was later reversed by a state appeals court. A former homecoming queen, Van Houten was the youngest Manson follower to be convicted of murder for her role in the death of a Californian grocer, Leno LaBianca, and his wife, Rosemary. And back to the headlines of the world news. China promises resolute response to any NATO expansion in Asia. Fighters kill 4 soldiers at southern Pakistani army base. And ex-Manson follower Leslie Van Houten released from prison after 53 years. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Vacancies for women from Deshakti Lanka for housemaids in Kuwait, Oman and Saudi Arabia for ages 23 to 58 years. Contact number 037 7500 500.
The Embassy of Sri Lanka in Brazil, in collaboration with the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, participated in the Expo Turisma 2023 held at the Convention Centre from the 7th to the 8th of this month. Addressing the opening ceremony, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka to Brazil, Sumit Dasanaika, informed the well-attended audience of Brazilian travel traders on the diversity of the tourism industry in Sri Lanka and invited them to enter into partnership arrangements with their Sri Lankan counterparts to receive mutual benefits. That came to you in Development News.
Vacancies for women from Deshakti Lanka for housekeepers, home cooks, caretakers and home nurses in Kuwait, Oman, Saudi Arabia and Singapore for ages 23 to 57 years. Salaries starting from 156,000 rupees. Interviews with foreign agents are now on. Come whether you have a passport or not. Branches, Colombo, Kurunagala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 037 500 500.
Moving on to sports news. Sri Lanka cricket selectors have selected the following 15-member squad to take part in the ACC Men's Emerging Teams Asia Cup 2023. The Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs, Roshan Ranasinghe, gave his approval for the squad. Dudith Wellalage will be the captain of the team. Pasindu Surya Bandara, Minod Balmuka, Avishka Fernando, Lasit Cruzpulle, Sahan Arachige, Ashen Bandara, Lahiru Udara, Janit Lenage, Binura Fernando, Lahiru Samarakon, Isita Vijay Sundara, Shamika Karunaratna, Pramod Madhushan and Dushan Hemantha will be the members of the team, and that came to you in sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
US comedian Sarah Silverman is suing ChatGPT maker OpenAI and technology giant Meta, alleging that her copyright has been infringed in the training of the firm's AI systems. Systems like ChatGPT learn to imitate human language by analyzing large data sets of human text. Meta declined to comment. OpenAI has not yet replied to the BBC questions. 2 other authors, in addition to Mrs. Silverman, are bringing the class action case. The case against OpenAI alleges that without the author's consent, their copyrighted materials were ingested and used to train ChatGPT. That's business news, economic news up next.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
And now in economic news.
The Sri Lankan rupee has depreciated further against the US dollar today in comparison to yesterday, according to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. Accordingly, the buying rate of the US dollar has increased from 305 rupees and 13 cents to 306 rupees and 15 cents, and the selling rate is also increased from 319 rupees and 32 cents to 320 rupees and 68 cents. The rupee is also slightly depreciated against several foreign currencies, including the Gulf currencies. That came to you in economic news.
Weather report.
Several spells of showers occur in the western, Sabaragamu and northwestern provinces, and in the Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Matala districts. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Ampara and Batiklo districts during the evening or night. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The government expects to spend 206 billion rupees annually on the Aswasuma program. The need to develop the human resource of the country has been emphasized. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says that the country is now gradually coming back to normalcy after President Ranil Wickremesinghe took office. Import restrictions on 300 more items to be relaxed. China promises resolute response to any NATO expansion in Asia. And Sri Lanka Cricket named 15-member Sri Lanka A squad for Emerging Asia Cup. With that, we conclude tonight's news broadcast, and now it's back to your host, Ramesh Piris, to take you to the end of transmission and keep you well entertained. All yours, Ramesh.